Okay, so the last one was about multiplying 3 different ways. So I'm going to show you how to now divide 3 different ways. We're going to go in the reverse direction for the multiplication problem I used. We're going to use 325 divided by 5. The first way is going to be what's called the standard algorithm. It's the way that people have been doing it for a long time. People hate it. People think it's boring. People think it's painful. But it is tried and true. It does work. There's nothing wrong with it. It's a lot of steps that people tend to forget, which is why people hate it sometimes. So what we do, we set up what people often call a house. 325, which is called the dividend, goes inside. 5, which is called the divisor, that's the thing dividing into, goes on the outside of the house. Now, we have to do a series of steps. In order, those steps are the following. Divide, multiply, subtract, repeat. If you remember that, can't forget it. A lot of people have different ways of remembering that, like doctor or something or whatever. Best to remember it. Divide, multiply, subtract, repeat. Divide, multiply, subtract, repeat. If you remember how to do that, there's no trick to remember. Anyway, so first, we take our divisor and try to see how much it goes into the first number. In this case, it's the hundredths place. So, 5 goes into 3, 0 times. We can either write a 0 or we can skip it. 5 can't go into 3, but it can go into 32. How many times can 5 go into 32? 5 goes into 32 a maximum of 6 times. If you had written 5 or 4 or something else, let's try 5. What would happen? You would have 5 times 5 is 25. Subtract, you would find, I got to borrow. 12, that's 7. 7. We have 7. We can go in one more time. We have to start all. This is why people don't like this method, because it's basically a series of guessing and checking, and people are generally uncomfortable with guessing and checking. In any event, we know 5 goes into 32 6 times. 6 times 5 is 30. 32 minus 30 is 2. Now we repeat by bringing down our next number. 5 can go into 25 a maximum of 5 times. 5 times 5 is 25. The trick that a lot of people get into is that they'll multiply 65 times 5 and they'll get into a little spot where they can't get out of it. Only multiply one number at a time. 5 times 5 is 25. Then we subtract. We get 0. And we're happy. So our answer is 65. Now, there's 2 other ways we can do this. They're generally less well known. People generally teach the standard algorithm the most. The next one I want to teach you is called the Big 7. Once again, we have our 325 on the inside of the house. But we're going to extend this all the way down the page. 5 goes out here. This is another series of guessing and checking, except with this one, when you guess wrong, you don't have to start all over again. So, how this works, I say, okay, how many times do I think 5 can go into 325? We're going to guess some things. If we guess and we're not high enough, we can keep on going, though. This is the big difference. So, I'm going to guess 5 can go in 5 times. That one's easy for me. Now, 5 times 5 is 25. I subtract, I have 300. Okay, so that clearly wasn't anywhere close to enough. I can try something a little bigger. Let me try 10. 10 times 5 is 50. I have 250. Okay, we're still not anywhere close to enough. Let's try something a little bigger still. Let's try 50. 5 times 50 is 250. I subtract, and I have 0. So now I'm done. What I now do, I add all of these up at the bottom here. 50 plus 10 plus 5 is 65. And that's my answer. That's a method called the Big 7. It's a way to get around guessing and getting it wrong and having to go back and try things over again, because you can keep on guessing, just keep increasing. And if you go over, you just back up one step rather than multiple. So that's called the Big 7. Next one is called division by parts. I did multiplication by parts last time. This is basically the same thing, just in reverse. So, you set up a box. You have 5. And beforehand, we had our multipliers, 5 and something else, and we were trying to find what's inside. Now we have what's inside and one thing on the outside. We have to find the missing piece. So this is what we're looking for. Boop. On the inside, we have 325. What do I do? This is crazy. Basically, it's the same method as the big 7, just now we're thinking of it spatially. I'm going to put 325 over here. So I'm going to try to use this space. So, what can I multiply times 5 to get to 325, or as close to it as I possibly can? I'm going to try 50. Again, this is guessing and checking. If you mess up, you just have to back up one space rather than multiple. So 5 times 50 is 250. I'm left with 75. 75 goes in here now. Now, what times 5 is 75? I'm going to guess, let's try 10. I know 5 times 10 is 50. Subtract. I get 25. I want to move that over there. Oh, I know 5 times 5 is 25. Subtract, I get 0. I'm done now. Now I can add all these up, and I get 65 as my answer. That's how you do division by parts. It's basically the same thing as the big 7, just for the more spatially minded among us. If you have any questions, please let me know. Until next time, have a good one.